keep them. If people start walking by, just put your cameras down. It's pretty simple. So let's do this. Nobody's. L. L. Maiden name starts with a. Maiden name starts with a L.
Okay.
That's why most people turn the volume down. It's okay. Okay. So just so you know, anything that's in front of something else, it's gonna put a stickman figure on it.
Yep.
I got a hold of the manufacturer, and they were just like, "Yep, it's always gonna try to put a stick on it." Things with leaves, trees, bushes, vines, they're never your friend. They're always gonna have a leaf in front of another one, so it's always gonna put that gobbledygook on there. That's again, I have the sensitivity down pretty low, which is why you're not seeing things like too far off in the distance. But the closer you get, you're gonna see all the contours. You'll see the edges of the building, you'll see the light and the pipe hanging off the building, and so forth and so on. The windows on the church show up every time. Don't get excited. A lot of people do. They're like, it looks just like a person. I'm like, yeah, there's not a person sitting on the windowsill right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, kind of take a walk around. We're looking for people our size, basically. So, and you're not as tall. We're about the same height, actually.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't feel so
good.
bad now. Maybe I was just on a lower part of the sidewalk. So what do you
right.
think, Allie? Is this what you signed up for?
It does look just like a fucking person. It's fucking odd. Out of the way. Nicki Minaj?
Huh?
Do you hear Nicki Minaj?
Checking the cash ad.
Huh?
Checking the cash.
Checking the cash.
I heard it there.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Baby.
So you listened to it yet? Are you gonna listen to that Spirit Box at all?
Yeah.
I figured as much. Have you heard anything coming out of there?
The only thing I've heard was, I didn't even ask her, but I just heard 5-7. And then I heard women.
I don't know, but when you say numbers like 5-7, I have to look at it as kind of a date like May 7th. Now I gotta do a quick Google search because there's. So her death date and her wedding date are both in the month of May. So now I'm gonna do a quick little. Let's see if I'm right. I'm gonna say it's probably the death date. If it is. 26th is her death date. So I'll dive in and see, because I have that link saved in my office, of when they got married. So it might be the 7th, I don't know, might not be. More than likely not, because there's how many other days. I want to say it's going to be something else closer. But, anything crazy going on the camera yet?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
So the slower you move with that guy too, just so you know, the easier it is to watch it. Just because I watch it in double time. So for every 5 minutes, I watch 1 minute real time, which covers 2 minutes in the video.
Yep.
So the slower you move, the easier it is for me to find something.
Got it.
But yeah, you definitely don't have anything going on there. That's a lot of the building contour.
Yeah.
All right, keep listening. We're gonna give this a few more minutes. I want to catch up with the word list real quick, and then we'll probably wrap this one up. I got some slight EMF, but not anything to like raise any hairs about, if that makes sense. So, everybody watch the vehicle coming in.
I'm one line.
What were the two numbers you told them? I got like 510, something around that. It's my birthday. Oh.
Wow.
I said, what was the day you got married? And then I said 510. Crazy. Doesn't matter.
Thank you. You turn it down.
Did you hear anything?
Hmm?
Did you hear anything?
No. I can't make out what it means or what it even sounds like. What do you walk past?
Not heard
Alright. You guys ready to wrap this one up? I heard we got a 510 that came that matches your birthday, correct?
That matches your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. I thought you were talking
Hope
it was
so.
Eliza's birthday.
No,
It was her birthday. Okay, cool.
70,000.
70,000. What about you? Nothing? That was the only thing you heard? And when did you hear that 70,000? So we were still somewhat in the Pinckney Mansion site? Do you remember how old Eliza was when she passed away?
7,000.
The point I'm trying to make is your spirit box is slowed down. It's going to pick up words before and after the actual message. What color is a big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. I don't need Rudolph the nosed reindeer. You just gave me 70,000. I don't need the 1,000. I still wrote it down, but I'm still going to point out that you died at the age of 70. So a lot of things wrapped around her death, but that May and that 5 kept coming up between the two. It was very interesting. So were you both listening along the way, or just you? Oh, man.
Whoopsies. I'll do better next time.
He's like, sorry, Dogs. So Philadelphia Alley. This is exactly where you are now. Obviously, a lot of tours are going to be cutting through us. What happens with that is they will come out of that ivy wall. We split the seas, let them pass through. I normally stop talking because I tell a little bit of a different history here than they do. Same story though. This is the place I'm actually taking out this year. So this is going to be the last time not the last time, but the last year I'll be doing this particular, because every year I take a location out and I add a new one in. So I've contacted a few psychics today to try to work on the next location for next year. So, but this will be the one I take out this year because everybody does it. Anyway, this used to be called Jewelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So everybody tells that same story, but again, more details coming from me. So you might want to listen up on this one. Go ahead and turn it down. Your ears are great.
No, it's not like it was all the way down. It's just as soon as we got here, right here in the back of my head started to hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, we were
You need to sit down. There's a stoop right there. Okay.
It's just when we were walking that wasn't happening. It's just
This one we got here. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So if anybody listening to those spirit boxes here's the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time. It's part of his name. Anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So she has an attorney helping her out with all this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not. On his way into town, his coachman set him up to be robbed and killed, but somebody was watching and knew that he was about to be killed, so he went over to help him out. That gentleman's name was Ralph Isaacs, and that's where I stopped because we get the letters R.I. all the time because it has the same initials of Ralph Isaacs and Rhode Island, where the doctor came from. We were getting the letters R.I. all the time on the two spirit boxes, so I bought a Ouija board device that works electronically, and I wanted to see how many times we would actually get the letters R.I., and it normally pops up whenever I bring up Ralph's name. So I've had it for about 6 months. It's happened about the same number of times. So about 6 times we've gotten R.I., and those two letters are not near each other in the alphabet. So we're not using that device tonight. That's actually the one that your other grandkid broke that I had to fix. Yeah, she did.
The red button. But you said you fixed it. Put
Yeah,
a
I
green
fixed
button.
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
you put a
it's
green
green.
button.
I wanted it to be
Green
green
now.
anyway.
Okay, there you
It
go.
was a red button. I like green. We're gonna go with green. Anyway, back to Ralph.
Okay.
Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. He said, come with me to 59 Church Street. You can stay with some friends of mine. They'll rent you a room. You'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer, and they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's cash. Amanda got wind of this, and she's moving down, so that way they can be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. I'm going to stop there again because every haunted city you're ever going to go to is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. I'm just going to point that out.
Okay.
We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So
Okay.
it's very cliche. Anyway, back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. They actually go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So one night they go see Richard III, and they're walking home. The doctor thought the new actress in town was great. How close is that group? I can't see past 3. Oh, they're coming. Yeah. Go let them mess.
There's bugs. Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. There's cockroaches in my place. I'm like, well, where are
Three more coming.
Yep.
flaxen hair? Mom says it's a lot.
Drink it all I need back. Okay.
So the ghost tour that you went on, Allie, how big was that group? Was it about the size that just walked past? Or was it broken up into smaller groups? A little smaller? We're actually allowed to go to 20. I just don't do it. I only go to 10 people. So like when I get 5 that show up, like, I'm excited. That's half the
Right.
bag gonna be empty
There
out,
you go.
right?
Oh, right.
That's less work on the back.
Right.
But anyway, back to Ralph.
Okay.
So they go see this play and they're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought the new actress in town was great, but Ralph didn't. It turns into an argument, and then Ralph is now insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways because it got really ugly. But Ralph has friends around town. He goes to see his friends at the newspaper and places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a you're a disgrace to society kind of stuff. The doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Jewelers Alley. We're going to settle this and somebody's going to die. They came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned and the doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So Dr. Ladd doesn't die either. That's where I said if you guys hear the song Hands on My Knees, that's not only heard here too.
Cool.
So, but anyway, so Dr. Ladd falls to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. He refused that medical treatment because it was 1786. Gunshot wounds were a lot different back then. He probably just thought it was like a lead poisoning kind of thing.
Right.
So he probably just bleeded out himself. He just failed because he died.
Mm.
Anyway, so every tour that comes down here will tell you to listen for the whistles as you're walking through the alley. It's always this quiet, right? It's even on a busy Saturday afternoon, it is usually this quiet. I'm going to tell you if you're going to walk all the way through here and try it with your voice recorder from your phones on your own time, because I can't take you all the way through here. I've been kicked out. I'll tell you why in just a minute. If you try it, just remember that every local knows the story, and now you do too. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. We all do it, just so you know. So it's a lot of false positives in the background. Luckily for us, you don't have to listen to it while you're here, like in real time. We have 2 cameras running. Hopefully yours is still running, plus my voice recorder. So if it's going to be in there, it'll show up on one of those 3 things. But we've also gotten the word whistle or actual whistles coming through radio stations on your spirit boxes, along with the word doctor almost immediately afterwards. So those are not coincidental things to me. We get them all the time. So just kind of keep that in mind. Yes.
What was the name of your fiance?
Amanda.
Because I got Michael Dyson. Annie, are you okay?
So that's for the next location.
Really?
It is.
Wow.
And she just
Cool.
proved my point, so I'll kind of get to that in just a
Okay.
minute.
Oh.
Here's how I got kicked out of here. Here's the fun part of the story. You guys ready for this? Well, Liz and Reed already heard it, so. Can't take tours all the way through the end of this, but when I first started doing this, I didn't know all the boundaries. So I used to take my groups all the way through, well, let me point out first that the alley didn't always come all the way through this way. There was a wall halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this is where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. So cows and chickens were all down up in here. Now, it used to be called Cow Alley back then. So what does that mean for you guys? Down at the end, those bricks are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks were actually sun-dried by slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down at the end and fingerprint swipes on others. And I used to point them out simply because we all need to see how far we've come from slavery. Had nothing to do with the paranormal whatsoever. November 26th of 2020. I took my group all the way through. They're all huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. I've already told you I don't take you to cemeteries. That's the last place you're going to find that kid who turned that brick, his handprint. He's not there. He's at home with his mama somewhere. Now, I'm also trying to shoo this group along because it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. I didn't know I was out of bounds. The new owner came out, he was screaming at me. My daughter thought it was great because her dad's getting yelled at because she was on the tour that night. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour Thanksgiving because I worked in upper management for Walmart for a good part of 20 years. I don't do Thanksgiving anymore. The next day, November 28th, I called my partner that I had and I told him what happened. He too laughed at me just like my daughter did. And he said, you can only go down halfway or reroute your group. When I told my group that night, because remember it's Black Friday,
Right.
I have a full group again. We're going to reroute, but I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen there with any of my equipment. We're going to talk about, pirates, but I'm a vampire guy. Just know that up front. And they were fine with that. They just kind of chuckled and we started to go. But before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them who we are going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So, she's already heard the Annie, Are You Okay song.
Okay.
I already told you about
Cool.
Bleed Over.
That's
It's
cool.
already starting to come through.
Okay,
So
good.
the funny thing is we go up and around the corner, and I told them what little bit I did know about pirates at the time, which wasn't much because I only had a quick day to research. And somebody else heard the number 300 coming out of their spirit box. I didn't know what it meant. I write it down. I research it the next day, just like I'm going to research your guys' 5.7s and 5.10s. But I found out we were there November 28th of 2020, Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her
Wow,
pirate trial.
that's cool.
So
That's cool.
I get normally that reaction of like, that's pretty cool shit,
That is
but I was
cool, yeah.
pissed.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Even when I'm writing my fiction, I still like facts and actual data to be able to make the story come alive.
Right.
Especially with this, I need facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after these events allegedly occurred. I've read more books on pirates than I've ever wanted to in my entire life. So just trying to piece this together to make sure what we're about to discuss is legit. Everything we're about to talk about at the next location came from a minimum of 2 resources, just so you have that idea.
Right, good.
Also keep in mind we're going to get the bleed over from here, so just let things happen. You're going to hear things, and I'm like, oh, that's part of the Dr. Ladd story,
Cool.
that kind of thing. the gate behind me before we leave the space. It's not too warm down here. Over the summertime, like this is like boiling hot down here. So I usually like breeze through this one so we can move on. But the gate, remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through?
Right.
So in the event there was a loser to the duel, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of this wall. So otherwise they'd have to walk all the way down to Queen Street, which you guys can see how long the alley is, and then double back with a dead body.
Wow.
So I call this the death gate, but keep in mind that the wrought iron probably wasn't put there until the early 1900s. So, but the gateway, you can see the arch is actually part of the original wall.
Cool.
So I do like to point that out just because not a whole lot of people know why that's actually there.
Terrific.
It's a very
That's
interesting,
awesome.
weird piece of history. Allie, have you heard anything since we've been standing here? Or you've been focused on me? Focused on me. It's okay. It's why everything's recording. And you have the one that's not recording.
I thought something was like during or something before that, and then it said show. I think it said during the show, but I'm not sure.
So we'll take any "Are you okay?" and during the show. Is that what I'm getting?
What that reminded me of was during the play. They were like,
Yeah, that's how I took it. Interesting. So
I think it was during the show, but I'm not sure. I know it said show though. So.
And Annie, are you okay? We've heard that song down here, that Annie, are you okay? I can't tell you how many times when we're investigating Anne
That's
Bonny.
cool.
Yes? Alright, so I do like the fact that you heard 70,000 back there. Like, that's very key. You probably didn't put that together along the way. Yep, that's exactly why you guys keep me around. Anything crazy that you saw, Reed? I seen you getting pretty close to a few things. Anything?
Well, there's red behind there, but you mentioned it's absorbing the sunlight.
Yep. Exactly. All right, so cameras, if you guys want to keep them running, you can. We're just going up and around the corner. We'll stay out of the other way of the other tours that might be around there. But any words, by the way?
Well, I got a few that I don't know because I don't remember everything, but I did get, I thought was interesting. I got, let me see, jazz.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's long before the era that we're speaking about.
Okay. And I wasn't sure. I got the word key.
Jesus.
I don't know. There was a name that came up, Brady. Yeah, Brady. B-R-A-D-Y.
We're near a cemetery, so I'll dive in to see if there's a Brady buried there. But as of
Okay.
right now, there's no
Okay.
connection to me.
And then all the other words that they may mean, so I don't know. But
Okay.
it's a lot of words, like landing and quit.
What's the number at the bottom of your list? How many are we up to?
71.
So the average, just so you guys know, for a 2-hour time frame is about 75 to 95.
Really?
So we're probably going to go up over 100.
Okay. And I had like sibling and cry and joy.
So sibling, did you get that here?
Yeah.
So depending on what else is I find in the Jolie's recording. So sibling, Dr. Ladd did have a sister, Elizabeth. So why she's so significant is because when Dr. Ladd was here, he actually wrote poetry. So it was based on his love for Amanda and the love of the city of Charleston. But he kind of kept it a secret. But Elizabeth actually published all of his poetry after he passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Cool.
actually, you could buy it on Amazon. Like it's
Okay.
I haven't read the whole thing, but
Okay.
it's pretty basic poetry.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, English guy. I know when there's like a legitimate poet and somebody's dabbling. Like he was definitely a dabbler. So,
Okay, cool.
all right, we'll let these folks pass through, and then we will go talk about Crazy and Brave, our pirates.
Sounds good.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Good.
All right, keep listening. You'll get more stuff. BOAZ, you're supposed to be listening, man. No, I'm kidding. I'm giving you a hard time, man. You gotta lighten up.
listening.
Have some fun.
I'm lighting it up. I want to see someone on top of the building. Trying to jump off. Bless you.
Those windows look scary.
You know.
cocaine?
I don't think so.
I heard that's when the cocaine kicks in.
That's when the cocaine kicks in. I heard something like legible.
That's when the cocaine kicks in.
That's when it kicks in for sure. I'm bad at double tasking. I just want to see someone on a ledge jump off.
What?
Like in the camera.
No. Oh, like the... I thought you meant a real person.
No, I'm not sick in the head. Ugh, my back. Wait, I'm not listening.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. It takes time.
Did you turn the volume down? So, what was the last thing you heard? Cocaine kills?
That's when the cocaine kicks in.
Maybe they did cocaine. Maybe they did cocaine. Did coke exist back then? You think pirates did cocaine? Yeah, they did.
I don't. I just thought it was a random word and then I started laughing at chicken. Oh my God.
Let's big and tall. Wait, what? Oh, me? Sorry. I'm bad at standing still. That's probably the best one she heard.
You gotta quit.
You keep walking too slow.
Still blown away by the Solomon because I think you both heard it.
Yeah.
Again, it's like you guys were meant to hear it. Did you guys hear anything yet?
I heard that's when the cocaine kicks in.
That's cool.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a party now.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's when the cocaine.
That's when
kicked.
was that like a song or?
I don't know. It just...
It's probably some political
That is
like
so
newscast
crazy. That's
that they're
really
ripping
cool.
on
That is
some
so
political
awesome.
figure.
I love it. All right,
That's-
so cool. Okay. I don't want to tell you every word, but I'm just getting some really random like flying missile, and I'm like, okay, I don't know.
Flying missile.
Yeah.
We're near the gunpowder magazine.
Oh wow. Okay. That's just
But
really
again,
crazy.
this the last war that this served in was the Civil War, so they
Really?
had missiles.
Cool.
They can.
They have
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
type of
They
rockets.
have rockets.
Yeah. I mean, not rockets like we think of, but they do have
So
rockets.
I'm still trying to get the names of Ian's mom. Hasn't come up. And is it Robert's pirate ship? You said
Calico Jack.
Calico Jack pirate ship. You know what? That's why we didn't respond. I had to go.
That might work out.
I did say. I did say what is the name of the pirate ship, but I haven't gotten it yet. So. And you may have told us something, but I don't remember. So.
I didn't tell you tonight.
No, but you may have told us in July, but I
Right.
don't remember. So. I was like, no, I'm going to ruin it for anybody because I don't remember half the stuff you told us in July.
That's
There's
actually
so
almost
much information.
even better.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much.
No,
When it comes up, I'm still like, really? That's awesome. Yeah.
You won't remember unless you have it.
Not unless I have it all recorded. And,
Well, you have it here
Right.
on the voice recording.
right.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
right.
but I mean, we're not going to remember in our heads because there's so much going on. We're trying to take care of it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, help me up here. I'll hold you. Can you hold me? Seriously, you're not going to let me fall. Thank you. So cool.
I heard the name
too.
I don't know. Did you?
I'd be zoning out.
You didn't listen.
I'm listening, but whenever I listen, nothing makes sense.
What are you two chatting about? What did you hear?
I heard Jane.
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 You guys are getting a lot of names.
I know. So I'm telling you. So when you do this every night, do you ever get bored with it?
No, because it changes every day.
Yeah. You get so much new information. It's crazy.
That reminds me of the name Mary Jane. I don't know what that's from. It reminds me of that. Mary Jane.
Just literally weed.
Well, we already had the cocaine, but I think the Mary Jane is supposed to preamp the cocaine, right?
It's cool. Yeah.
Say that.
What's that song again?
I was gonna say that.
What's that song called?
This for a minute. I got something.
What's that song called?
I should have worn clothes. I forgot about those close shoes.
I thought I saw something on the thing, but it was just a tree.
Yeah, missiles still there. Sometimes it will be like one word right after the other.
I said, I don't think
Then it
that
will
was
just
the
come
best
up.
way to
Oh, it's
go.
what happened. It's going away. It'll be there. Yeah.
That was the first time we talked in like 3 years.
It's really
Okay. Right. 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 Yeah. Right.
Icky.
Right.
So starting in November, I'm hoping that I'm gonna
That was not a tree.
have that done for the
Any idea where you're gonna go?
It's just the building.
It's one of 3 places that this woman was affiliated with because where she was murdered is out of bounds for tours. So that's why I'm getting in touch with the psychic to see which one of the 3 locations it's going to be. Like, see how that's going to fit into the route. But it's a murder mystery that's never been solved here. So I'm hoping that if I get this well-known psychic involved, Carol Cottrell, that's who I reached out to. She's pretty well-known between us and New York. And hopefully she wants to come down and work with me and like once we piece it together and help me get the story.
That would be
all right.
cool.
Like that'll be another potential. Where she was murdered, this woman, right past where we're going. So we're going to Washington Square. She was murdered 2 blocks away, which is out of bounds. But she was affiliated with other things this way. So I might take out Philadelphia Alley, go straight here, go to that location, and then Washington. I have to see where the route actually takes me. Because I still want to end it with the Estes method at the next location.
No, I have another rock in my shoe. That's all. I should have looked.
Anything else coming out of the 2 of you? Nothing at all, Jolie? Any other words besides missile?
I just got sliced.
I think we can call it on that one.
Okay.
I didn't have any readings show up anyway.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
let's gather around where everybody's sitting. So,
Okay.
Allie, Boaz,
It feels good. Yeah.